Hello everyone, good morning. How is the music like this? Let me also see, for some reason my camera is still not working. It works on Discord, but not here. I've been trying. If it doesn't work, give me a minute just to check the stream quality and everything. Good morning and hello to everyone. Well, it's okay. I don't know if you heard that, but Haroon is doing Haroon stuff, my cat. Let me put this here. And let me put the chat before we get started. Hey, Jeremy. Khitij. Good morning to you guys. Alright, so in this stream we will continue working on environment I'm making in Unreal Engine 5 and Blender. It is fairly simple. The geometry is just brutalist form of architecture where there's like really simple shapes, and there are like 2-3 materials across the whole project, and the rest is decals. So decals are everywhere in the project, and they are here to break repetition in the textures and to add life in a way, tell a story like this old place. In my opinion, decals, with and without them, massive difference. So you can see the texture repetition all the time. The same on the floor. If we go to this perspective, you can see the same texture is repeating all the way. When we add the decals, we in a way forget about that. So there are many ways to break down texture repetition in your scenes, especially when they are large. So this is the scale of a human, and these are like gigantic guards or something, so don't let their scale fool you. So this is what a human. Oh yeah, this is the room I'm still working on. So yeah, it's really fun project, and I'm just gonna walk through the process. If there are questions, we will answer them, and all the good stuff. So when it comes to a project like this, when I'm working on it, I always have my cinematic shots or some of my main shots, not this. This needs to be fixed. But if you go to this shot, for example, and if you go to a couple of more shots, I usually set up these at an early stage while I'm working on the project to focus on the areas where I want to work. And yeah, in a way this helps me stay focused. So what I want to do next to stay focused more is to decide on if I have cinematic shots that are moving, so they're like one of the final results of any project we are creating is a cinematic. You want to show your work to others, you want to post it on Artstation, on your portfolio. So I usually scout in a scene, I just walk like so, and sometimes it's fun to do that with an Xbox controller for smoother camera motion. But I try to look for shots that I really like and I pan the camera, so forward or left and right. And of course I count on the cameras I placed earlier. So if I have camera like this, it might go something like this. And I like to save when I find a couple of animations. Sometimes I like to do that also within a camera under specific settings. So just create a folder within your project if you like. So this is where we at. And I'm gonna make also a duplicate of this map so we can see the progress across. There we go. So I made the folder called cinematics. I made a sequence called master, and we can either come here and add a master sequence with other shots. Maybe this is a better idea. So let's do that. I'm gonna delete this. So master sequence settings, the name sequence, suffix master. It can be saved under game, so the root folder. Here we can have a folder called cinematics. Now this is okay if your project is just this environment, but in my case I use marketplace assets a lot, and I like to use them in multiple projects sometimes just to utilize the nanite meshes I'm downloading and everything. So this is why we have a folder called projects, and inside this folder we usually have our specific project. In this case it's this one, places, and I like to make the cinematics folder here. So it's up to you where you want to create your cinematics folder, but in my case I will select my project and select the cinematics folder here. And I want to create for now 5 shots, and we leave this on default. Each shot I'm gonna make it at 6 seconds for now, or 8, because I imagine like really slow camera movement. This is how I imagine the cinematic of this project, with like ambient music or something. Let me drink some water. Hey, Arash, Ashish, good morning, guys. So how was your weekend, everyone? Hope you had a productive week and a productive weekend, or a weekend, whether productive if you worked or if you rested. Both are important. I'm gonna keep everything in the same name, and I'm gonna create a master sequence now. And it will open the sequencer for us. I can click on the window and drag it here. And I will also click on my content browser, drag it also here, so we can have like slightly bigger place to work with. And I'm gonna press F10 to put all these menus on the side, but they are still accessible when I want the outliner or the word settings or the content browser or the sequencer. But maybe you can click on the sequencer, undock, and just put it here, and the rest we can access it whenever we want. So, Khitij, you made this environment in Blender. To give you background to you and to everyone who is new to this project, I started the main block out inside Unreal Engine 5, and the project started like this. So let's give a few minutes to that on the background. So using the Unreal Engine modeling tools, I created very simple geometries and like boxes for the emissive lights, boxes, the same like box geometry, gray box, of what I may want to create. So I know I wanted something like this in terms of cylindrical or hexagon and like bunker or facility or temple or something that where you can look up and see like bright sky and perhaps some volumetric fog and God rays. So I started here. I sent this first to 3ds Max, this mesh, and I constructed a basic the basic shapes in 3ds Max first because it's the tool I use for like 10 years or more. And when I like during the block out phase, I've decided, okay, I wanted to learn Blender for like 3 years now. So I exported everything from 3ds Max to Blender, and inside Blender I started working. So I am now much more comfortable with the user interface, and thanks to you guys for teaching me some shortcuts to move around the scene. I am making the scene in Blender, so you can say it's a mix between UE5, Max and Blender, but now you can say just Blender because I'm doing some experiments on like plugins and I'm testing things. So there is like one-click damage, it's a very cool plugin. I'm using it here, as you can see, but just to tell, it's barely visible. Is this the part? No, this is a very old map. So let's open here. Yeah, and it's kind of cool. I didn't process the mesh in any way. This is where you can see there is a corrupted mesh here. So this needs to be processed. It is not game ready in any way, but I just want to see how it looks. And it looks okay. I just wanted to add more variations to the surfaces. So I've done the same here. I've decided to break pieces apart, like the big walls, and just do this. So I will take this later to whether ZBrush or completely just do it in Blender, because the sculpting tools in Blender are nice but painful when it comes to millions and millions and millions of polygons. So that's why I might add another tool to the mix to create this, or we will see. Now in this part I actually have created a mesh inside Unreal and I displaced it inside Unreal, which is this mesh, and I did the displacement and the Boolean operation directly inside Unreal Engine. So you can see here I have this type of displacement and here as well, and instead of having like a sharp edge like this, and instead of fixing this whether in Blender or wherever, you can also achieve the same in Unreal. And I believe like there is something to keep in mind. All of this is completely for like cinematic purposes, not for game or anything that should be optimized for a game. It's just for visuals. It's just purely for that, or for visual production, let's say, to create a short film or something. And yeah, in a way, I believe we achieved the, when you look up, you can see some God rays and nice sky. And yeah, I'm experimenting also with these Paragon assets. They're fun. We click simulate. If you had animation or something, that's cool. So let's take a look at the questions. Thank you, man, Khatij. Blender is so cool. There are like, I discovered this couple of days ago. This is called Blender Kit, and you go to search models and you type what? Let's see, rack. We find racks, whether paid or free, but let's find something statue. Hey, look at that. So I think this is such a cool plugin. You click, drag. Oh, I missed. That's so cool. Yeah. So yeah, I think Blender as a tool to also prototype ideas you're working on, like, and work on them fast. It's also cool, right? Especially there is the Quixel bridge connection as well. So to map some of the textures, I assign the same. So let's just do this again. I assign the same texture I have in Unreal Engine here on Blender. So I can do the UV mapping. So it's like whether, as you can see, the lines. So because we have like hexagonal shape, so we need to work on the mapping a little bit, right? And so on. Arash, so good way to model basic shapes. Blender and Unreal Engine is very powerful and easy. You make it very beautiful. Thank you. And yes, Blender, Unreal, or any tool with Unreal, I think like they are always a very powerful combination. What I recommend for everyone who is making environments, so I really encourage the idea of using the modeling tools inside the engine to prototype the very basic block outs of your scene, and then take this mesh, export it back to Blender. So any static mesh, you can right click and you can select all of them, combine them if you like. So you can export them as FBXs or bulk export, bulk edit, sorry. Bulk export, yes, there we go. And export, you can also select them here and like unify them if you want to send all of this as one mesh, if you want to keep the same pivot points and whatnot. So I think it was somewhere. So not visibility, transform. Looks like I forgot, where is it? Not this one for sure. I completely forgot where is it, where it likes it's moved. We have actor here. Okay. There are some under the hood changes happening to Unreal Engine 5 slowly, in a way. So we used to have select and now actor, it seems. They used to be here, but now they're both here. So we select, like, this is extremely useful and handful way to select your meshes, and now actors. So convert actors to static mesh. You can collapse them and then you can export them into a mesh FEX file. And instead of searching for it for hours from here, you can also go to the modeling tools and you can select multiple meshes like so, and you can mesh merge and then export. And this mesh merge, you can make new object completely. So many cool options. You texture it inside Unreal. Droxy. You texture all of this inside Unreal. Yes. So for texturing so far, there is this two main textures, I'm gonna say. There is this texture where we have concrete, and then like space slab something, then concrete again. And we have, if I go to unlet mode, this texture where we have this type of pattern, and it's repeated almost everywhere, well technically everywhere. And the third texture I got rid of. So there was a texture here, I think I made a copy of it somewhere here, yes. So I may change this so it fits better with these, but yes, the rest, everything else is decals. And there are some decals here I can fix, but they are invisible, so it's completely fine. And sometimes where I'm using here, because we're using Quixel Megascans materials, they come with their material instances. The important option sometimes we may need to use a lot is the offset. So like you offset the texture left and right and up and down so it can fit. This will change, and yeah, these are some of the things that I need to fix. Look at that. Look at you. What are you doing here? Let's just put it here. And yesterday I spent like 30-40 minutes, not 30-40, but like 10 minutes or something working here, and I realized after like, oh, none of it is visible. But I may change some stuff in the lighting still. Khatij, you might not remember, but I did try and help you out with Blender a while back, around 6 months ago or so. Well, I do remember that was on Discord, right? And also on the streams. If it's on the streams, I can't, well, how can I put it? I love you guys. If it was not for you, my learning journey with Blender would be so much longer. So I'm grateful. And I'm very glad that I'm able also to show cool stuff in Blender. So Blender Kit, this is a really cool thingy to check out. There are materials, scenes, HDRs, brushes. Yeah, let's get back to Unreal. So the secret is these guys. I think like creating all of this took me, I'm not gonna say a couple of hours, but let's say creating all of this took me a couple of hours compared to just placing the decals. So the decals are like at least 60% or 70% of work so far in this. This was, I found this like in 20 minutes on Sketchfab. This, I don't say it's complicated. Of course, I used some reference images to help me. So this is my mood board, and I said, so for those who are new, this is inspired from as lighting from Blade Runner and like the cyberpunk in a way, and the atmosphere in general is inspired from Dunes. I like that movie and their mega structures, their brutalist mega structures and ships. Yeah, I like this in general. And the middle area is something maybe from this, so still working on it. Wow. Sometimes switching between an app and Unreal while streaming is not nice. So I still need to do some work here to make it look as nice. So yeah, reference is very important. Here I have these as an example, some of the corners. This is one of my favorite artists, Nick Stath. He makes amazing brutalist scenes. Nick Stath. You can find him on Artstation. Khatij, Habibi, appreciate you, man. Yes, sharing is caring. So let's continue. Let's get back to the cinematics we created using earlier from the tool here. Add the master sequence. We left most settings at default except for the duration, and gave it a place and the number of shots, and we created a sequence. And it already tells us, hey, you already have a sequence. And what's cool, if you click here, you can find your sequence master or master sequence here, and you can now find your shots. Now, these shots should be placed in the same folder, and we have shot 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And the naming convention like this, if you check out the sequencer demo in Unreal Engine 4, like there are some naming conventions and ways where you should structure your cinematics. And if you want to learn more about like the proper structures, there is this sample that I highly recommend checking out, and how they do cinematics. The sequencer, subway sequencer. It's a very cool sample to learn everything you want and the capabilities of the sequencer tool inside Unreal Engine. And cover some cool stuff in the stream. So I'm gonna select the first shot, and I'm gonna try and find my sequencer. Well, it's below the content. So this is something I really not sure of. So I'm gonna dock this in the layout. Undock. Yeah, let's just have it here. As for the shots, when we open a sequence, you will see a new icon in our word outliner called spawnable, and currently we have also a camera with the same icon, spawnable. And this camera, if we click F to locate it and press G to see where it is, it got the same icon here. This means I'm gonna copy the name of the camera and close the sequencer. Now the outliner is back again to normal, and that camera technically does not exist anymore. So it's another camera that has the same name, but that camera is gone until we open the sequencer again. So let's open the shot and let's select the camera. There it is. So yeah, I think we are fine with that. I can now find shots I like and imagine how the camera will move. So 100% this is one of the shots. So I'm gonna open the camera settings and go to transform, location, and I know based on my creation, like this is at the center of the world, so I can put on the x-axis 0, so it is in the center 100%. And here we can put whatever, so I'm gonna keep it like no need, actually this does not really matter, but I'm gonna keep it in a way where it's close to things and frame in frame type of composition. So maybe the camera starts here, and as for the Z height, I think this looks okay, but because there is no lights, and I intend on keeping no lights here because I don't want to work on this area. I like it more like this. And we can click on transform here to add new keyframes, but before I add any keyframes, I'm going to make sure that instead of the default key interpolation from Cubic Auto, where camera starts slow, it gets faster and then it slows down. We're gonna take a look at the curve. I want the animation to be linear. Now I'm gonna keep it here for now, just for now, and enable the transform only on the keys I want to animate, which is the location in this case. I'm gonna move my playhead to 180, or here you can type 180 to the end frame, and I can click and animate, right? And if we click on show the curve editor, we zoom in, you can see like there is some sort of curve. And if we play the animation, so let's put this here, camera gets faster and then slows down again till it stops. I don't want that. I'm gonna select these two keyframes and press 4. Pressing 4 is the shortcut for linear interpolation. When you press 1, it will take it back to cubic interpolation, automatic tangents. So these guys are automatic. If we change any of it, it will become cubic interpolation, user flat tangents, which is like what we modify. And if you want to break, if you have like tangents, if you have a keyframe and you want more control over the tangent, the left and right, you can go to 3 basically, and 4 is for linear. So now the animation is linear. Okay, if we play it, it will play at the same speed all the time. So let's play it again because it lagged. And it will also stop suddenly, right? I like it. Well, I want it slower, but the reason it stops suddenly because it's now linear. Now if we press 1 again, it will start same speed, but at the end now it will slow down before it stops. I don't want that. Why? Because when we are making our cinematic animations, we tend to cut shots most of the time between each other, especially if there is music. So there are like a million ways you can do transition, but when you all of your shots before they start and end, like they have this weird, they are not consistent in animation in the speed of the camera, it will not be such a cool cinematic video to show, and it might ruin your amazing work if you've done like really great project, but the cinematic got like some of these mistakes, I'm gonna say. I don't know, it will make it worse. So yeah, just make sure like the most basic thing, always have linear animations. So that's why if you don't want to keep pressing 4, you just go here, and from now on every keyframe we're going to create is gonna be linear keyframe. So we added a keyframe. We changed the keyframe here. When we clicked here, it added for X, Y, and Z, but we only change Y. So that's why you have 1 keyframe here and 3 here. So we can either delete this or keep them. It does not matter. For the camera speed, yeah, I think I can stop the animation here. So I can add a keyframe here, and I can get rid of the keyframe here and move this here, so it's slightly slower, and it gets to a less point, or not less but earlier. Yep. Let's move to the second shot, and we can select the camera, and the same settings are here. Now we animated by using keyframes here. There is also another way to do animations. So let's say first let's bring this way back. Go away, thank you. Yeah. Let's say you want you want to animate your camera like this, not from here. Now you find, so let's find a spot we like. maybe we can click on the camera and switch this to something like 18, 25. Yeah, let's say like this. You find the shot you like. So let's say this shot. And the reason I'm making these shots is to know where to work next on my project. So I know I have to fix this later and so on. So that's why it's good recommended practice to start setting up your cinematic shots in a way in an early stage, but not also so early. But yeah, so what is so early is just your static shots. Now we can click add keyframes to location, add keyframes to rotation. We can move our playhead and we can move around. And once we find a spot we like, we can add new keyframes. But what you will notice, wait, once you added one of these keyframes, it will mess up your animation in a way. So let's delete this. Look at this key. Create a keyframe when channel properties change. So this will automatically create a keyframe for us when we make a change to an actor in the level in the editor. So if we enable this and we move around now, I'm gonna put this at 180. And I'm gonna move to the left and press Q slightly to go down and like move my mouse to adjust the angle. And you will see here we already have keyframes. And now if we play the animation, it's moving from point A to point B. So that's cool. Now, I like for the shots to be slightly more consistent. I did complete random example here, but what I also try to do at early stage, or not early stage, but like what would be next. So I would make like from 5 to 10 shots, and I go later to a website where I can find some good music, the music that I can imagine in my head, and I export these shots like in low quality, very low quality, just to see how they will look. Or I can either the other way, I can import a wave file here in Unreal Engine and experiment with the music. So if we could manage to find some cool shots today, we can definitely try that. Let me put the chat here on the left because it's been a while since I took a look. You texture, you might not remember, yes. Okay, no new questions. Guys, are you sleeping? So, if there are no new questions, where are you guys watching from at the moment? Let's go to transform and let's set this to 0 and let's find the shot we like. And let's see if I want also such wide angle, wide lens. It might even look cooler at the first opening shot. So when it's 18, like so, I think it's much better than when it's 35. Because let's click here 18. You can access all the settings of a camera that you can usually see in your details panel from the sequencer. And if there are settings you can't access, you can always add more properties, settings. So 18 here looks good. Need to adjust the z-axis of my shot, and I want to disable create automatic keyframe, so it won't create a keyframe for z. And I'm gonna pilot this camera. And let's see. Unreal, don't crash. Okay, now in a way I like this. So I'm gonna delete the first frame. I'm gonna start from the end frame and I will move forward. Yes, maybe up to this point. Maybe we can add more. Less, just a little less. Yeah, up to this here. Let's get rid of this. And I'm gonna select, move my playhead, because now I think the camera speed will be so fast. Actually, it's not so bad. But yeah, let's say it starts from here, so I can add a keyframe here. I can delete the old keyframe, and now the animation from here to here, from frame 100 to frame 180, it used to be 80 frames, this speed. Now, I like this shot and everything, but I don't like the speed, so I'm gonna extend this from 0 to 180. So what used to be 80 frames in animation, now it's 180 frames. And I like it. Yes, let's do it that way. So the default focal length we will be using for most of our shots as well to keep them consistent is between 18 and 25. Well, I need to select one of the millimeter as a lens setting. I'm just looking at the chat. Yo, Hitij from India, Droxy from US, Slate for US, and afternoon for India. What a time. Hope it's having great evening, Droxy. Ashish, sorry you got blue error on your PC. Ah, the blue screen of death. This RBZ, thank you, man. I'm glad you agree with me on the shot if it's better. Is that what you agree on, right? So something that's really hurting my eyes here is this surface. Now I use this because I wanted it to, I don't know what I was thinking really. I wanted to make it brighter from here, but nope, it does not work in action. So let's make duplicate and give the duplicate any other material for now. Thank you. Yeah, I need to work here. We will see. Let's find the shot. And yeah, maybe for this shot I'm gonna use 35. And I'm gonna click on the first frame, adjust where I want to look. So I want to look more here. This is actually the part where I am interested about. Because I forgot to keep this on. So I'm gonna enable this, and now my changes will happen automatically. Not necessarily, by the way, I'm keeping this at 180. It's just for me safe space to work with, but it's not necessarily to export 180 frames. It's just I extend, and like when I have in my master sequencer so many shots, I like to have my freedom in how I move them around. More freedom, let's say. But usually shots, they take like 4 or 5 seconds. You don't want to have the same shot on the screen for extremely long periods because it gets boring. Let's check some of our previous shots. So there is the camera number 1. we got something like this. We want more shot working through this place. Camera 2, we want shot like this from the side. So I think this camera would be that. I'm gonna go to the first frame. I go F11 to go into immersive mode. And when I'm moving now, I'm pressing ASDW to move like left and right, and scrolling up to move faster, scrolling down to move slower. And I'm trying to find an angle I like. Wow, this is so cool. We'll focus on this back again later, but I try to focus on my cinematics area by area. So the first one is this, right? So we got shot like so. And now we want what could be the second shot, basically. I'm trying to imagine if there was a cinematic and they go like shot after shot. It's not always I do it this way, but this is so many processes going inside my head when I'm making the cinematic. And it really helps to know where to focus on. And I also like to be in the cinematic mode. So when you click on perspective, go from viewport type to cinematic viewport, it will allow you to add composition overlays. You can't see them in a way because my screen is ultra wide, but if you see this corner, you have the composition overlays. So in a way, they help you set up your shots. So that's what we will do here. I like this, let's say, as the first frame. I'm gonna move it, and I'm gonna, on the location, move this on Y. And move on to the next camera. All right. Now, I imagined while I was making this, if there were some sort of light that, like, I worked on this area, but I thought, okay, I'm getting way ahead of myself. I should focus more inside. I wanted to have the feeling where someone is going up the stairs and look up like so. But obviously this is 35mm lens, we need to change it. But what if we have a shot like so and we're just looking up? Unreal. Wow. I don't know why I'm having these frame dips, but maybe because I'm streaming, because I was not having these before. Okay, I like this as a place because I don't want to lose it. Let's not forget to add a keyframe. I recommend adding keyframes first and then finding your shot, just in case you may lose the nice shot you found. And now let's try to animate this. So rotation on the pitch. This is so fast. Yeah, anyway, it's not. So let's add also something to the transform and move it. Now. Nope. Don't go. Don't move back. Annoying. Maybe move forward. Yeah, slightly less boring when you move forward, but the problem, it's such a large. Almost. Yeah, it will cut at the very end, so maybe we can transition from this shot to something here. But in a way, you can see a cinematic folding up. So we started the first shot from here, from inside, and then the second shot from here. We have a shot also on the thingy here, and then looking up. So the second shots we could move around this to tell more. So you want to reveal the environment like step by step in a way. It's not a rule of like you should follow, but one cool idea you can implement is revealing your environment piece by piece, like 1, then 2, then maybe shot on here, then what is this, and so on. But I also want shots from the very top. So should we start from the very top, like so, by the way? Nah, that's too much. Nope. The best shot we can get from the top is like this. At least for now, until we fix. We will see. So let's focus where we want to focus. Yesterday I was just turning. Okay, maybe I can. This is the Xbox controller now. I don't think like. Yeah, I'm imagining camera. Okay. Let's add some keyframes. So location rotation. And let's find. Let's make this slightly faster as well. Let's forget about the controller. It's for fun. Mouse is faster. What if? Maybe if you don't find your best shots, sometimes you can try generic, or not generic, but like one shot that works, so you can focus multiple things on the topic. So let's say this is a frame I like. I'm gonna move around it to an angle. Okay. Let's also not forget to check for the focus settings. Alright, you get some depth of field here. So we can do the same later for each of these cameras. And now, if you want more shots, you can make duplicates of the same folder. So Control D. Wait. I wonder, can we add more shots from here? No. What about the master sequence? So this is the master sequence. What if we want to add more shots? Is it going to override our shots? Or can we like change this to 20? Let's see what we have. Yeah, there is so much work to do on here. I don't want to bore you to death, guys. I'm gonna close the section of making our cinematic shots here. And let's go switch to Blender and Unreal now. Actually, before Blender, I know one of the shots I want from... Where is it? This place. So, I'm not sure on the floor though. So should we work here? Let me show you something. So, too many decals might be intriguing, but once you create it for a couple of your scene locations, you can simply now select and repeat these. So let's work slightly on the decals where we are close to the camera. I'm gonna take these, rotate them by 60 degrees, because this is a hexagon shape, and move them where they should be. So that can be around here. I'm gonna press G so I can see better sometimes what's going on, and I can switch to local coordinates system instead of the global, so I can move it as I like. So I'm gonna press G, move it here, press G again, and move it slightly to the middle. Don't worry about the lines here, because later we can add something especially for them. So now we can make, also because I want to play slightly with their opacity, like so. So I think in general this is slightly strong all over, so later I might like decrease them to be something like this. So you have this gizmo, and if you put it exactly in the middle, it will be the strongest, but if you move it slightly up, you can control the opacity in a way. So let's make it somewhere around here. I'm gonna click Alt and make a duplicate, then press Shift to move my camera with my selection. I'm gonna move it like not right after it, because I don't want the repetition to happen in this, like in the placement of these. So I can just place it somewhere here, right? And let's press, if you can't see sometimes because you don't have lighting, you have such areas, you can press Alt 3 to go to unlit mode, and now it's so much easier to place our things. And you can change this, you can now rotate it 180 degrees if you like, and put it somewhere here. And take one more copy. All right, select this, duplicate, move it here. If you want to be creative, you can scale it down, put one here and put one here, scale it in the opposite direction, mix them together like so, bring something, put it. Actually, by the way, it's the same decal, I think. So if we go to select all with the same material, this decal, if it wants to select all with the same material, it does not want to do that. So we can select the material and select actors using this asset. So the same decal, let's see how many times we used it. 861 times. This one decal. Fun fact, let's count this. So the same decal across the whole project. Almost. There is like more decals, but you can get away with one decal a lot. And then when you can add slightly more things, yeah. Should be fun. It is fun. I always keep to forget on the side, the chat on the side. Sorry guys, I just saw the chat. So we have also people from Canada. Displant. How is it going, Displant? Good evening. Sullivan Game Channel, how are you? That is why big studios hire storyboard artists. Yes, absolutely. You know exactly what to work on from before even you touch your 3D tool. You have all your the storyboard with all the shots you want. Yep. In the way I look at this workflow here is just exploration, having fun. Why don't you do Clint's challenge? I will do Clint's challenge, Shaliv. I just want to finish this first, and I'm gonna wrap up this maybe today. I'm done with this project. Need to abandon it, find a couple of cool shots. That's it. Next. I learned so much from this, and Clint's challenge is something I'm very keen about. Meditations and whatnot sound gonna be so cool. So I'm gonna also definitely stream that. Let's take this. Let's disable this. I move it here. Who is doing a Clint challenge as well? Anyone? Let's move this here. And let's click here. So to move it to the local. And let's close this gap here. You may need to scale things sometimes up and down. So let's see. This part here we see. So this is very close to us. This is the main entrance. If we have like any gameplay stuff, this will be seen. So to work on this, we may need to make a material instance. If you place this, nope. If you place this, nope. So we need to duplicate, place it, open it, and change the offset. There we go. And once we change the offset, all of our decals are messed up. So what we can do, select one of them. Well, what is the easiest way to select these guys? Because I don't know what is there. Oh, there we go. Isolate my selection. So I'm sure I selected these. So I can make sure that I have these only, and then go back and select one of them again. The pivot will update. So when you're moving so many assets like this, whenever you want to update your pivot, the placement of it, you can hold Control or Command, click, but don't move it by mistake. So click and then click again, and it will move the pivot here for you. It will be so much easier to move things around. Alright. Can make a couple of duplicates. These guys, boom. Let's save. Is there any way to combine movie render queue to convert PNG to MP4 the easy way? Because my video editing software hanging a lot. Ashish, that's a good question. So the best way to combine MP4 footage, actually I wanted to make a tutorial on that soon, is to, once you export your PNG or image sequence from Unreal, and I don't know if I have any sequence, if you move the Adobe Media Encoder, so Adobe Media Encoder will recognize or will be able to see your footage, and it will also be able to recognize multiple sequences, and you can select all of these PNG or EXR or whatever sequences and turn them into videos. In this case, PNG or JPEG sequences. So the fastest way is to use Adobe Media Encoder. This is the solution I know of right now. Otherwise, you need to import everything sequence by sequence inside Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve or any editing software you are using for videos. I usually do export an image sequence and then export it as like a clip on the highest quality settings possible, and also archive these clips. So if I want to create a showreel, if I want to create something for a website, a social media post, you always have the source material in low size file, in a way, small, unless you want to keep the highest lossless, then that's something else. Now in the corners yesterday I slightly struggled, so there were this corner, so I ended up reducing their opacity a lot and not placing so many, because if you do, it's not that good. So what do you guys think here? Did I nail it, or I still need to work on it? Something feels off. I'm thinking, in a way, this looks fine. I don't know. So what do you guys think here? Also give me 1 minute to bring water. I want to stay hydrated. We have 30 people, 36. Are you staying hydrated? If yes, hit like. Okay, be right back. Hey guys, so I also need 5 minutes to stretch. All of you, I recommend the same if you're sitting on your PC. So I just need to stretch. I've been sitting here for hours, not on the stream as well, but before. So I'll be back in 5 to 7 minutes. I'm gonna do like this starting soon, but not starting soon. I'm gonna call it be right back. But let me change this. Bereb. No, doesn't sound looks good. Be right back. Once I'm back, I will address also all the questions in the chat. Hey, Angel, good morning from Spain, Madrid. Hey, I'll see you soon, guys. Just 5 minutes. Hello. Almost here. By the way, Kerry, Adios, Bab, Joe, thank you for subscribing, guys, and everyone, and for the likes. I really appreciate it. Let me put the chat again here. All right. How is it going, Angel? Droxy, I actually recently been taking so much looks into Lyra sample for the level design is cool, and for the shooter mechanics, I want to, in a way, see if I can have the same AI and everything in any level I make. And I think one nice way to learn level design is to make some small levels from your favorite first person shooter games as a practice. This way you learn more about like the environment design, yes, check, and the level design from gameplay aspects. Like you learn maybe why they placed things around. So yeah. Let me just make it slightly lower. The music is good, right? If there is music. Yo, Jirianek, thank you so much as well for subscribing. Cheers. Let's place more decals. For every subscriber, we're gonna place one decal. What do you think, guys? Place 1 million. Alright, so it might, because I'm reducing the opacity here, it might be cool also to reduce it like slowly. So maybe here, like so. Then move it here. Now this needs to be smaller, so we can scale it down, move it. And we can move it also up, like so. Click E, then Alt, then hold and rotate to make it duplicate and rotate it immediately, like so. Hold E again and move to make another duplicate. Hold E, Alt, sorry, not E, Alt. And 120. Another 120. Another one. And another one. Now, if you don't want to deal with this, but obviously we want for this actor to receive decals, but You can turn it off for specific actors or specific faces. I'm gonna keep it, and I'm just gonna simply scale this down. This I can take care either later, or we're not gonna see them at all from these distances. So sometimes we don't need to spend as much time on working on details. So maybe this could use slightly more opacity. Let's take another one and let's put it here, scale it. Let's see. I'm gonna drink some water. I'm just checking that you can see the whole screen. All right. And let's place this here. The same for the near the walls. They look better as well. So I'm gonna show you place where we have them. I'm gonna click. So yes. But we can make these large. So this one. For some of them, we want to start like a new one so they can be dirtier in a way. It's too much. Let's make a couple. Take this. I like, yeah, I like it. Let's not forget about this side. Make a duplicate, rotate it, make it slightly bigger, for example. And eyeball it. Anyway, you'll feel what's slightly natural and what's not, what can use more work. Okay. We can also borrow some elements. And then, so we have this. Take some of these guys. Hey, Ashish. Hey, Yahya, is there any way to make openings in walls in Blender? Sorry. Of course. You mean in Blender or Unreal? There is a million way you can make wall openings in all 3D tools. Sometimes you can model your windows and walls as separate pieces. I'm gonna show you a way. And or you can make a boolean, which is recommended usually, depends. As long as you keep in account how you separate or create your meshes for light maps or lumen, then you should be fine. Sorry. I need to drink some tea or something because my throat hurts. So I think I would create wall in Blender, like, or opening. So if I have a mesh, right, and let's say this mesh is, this is a wall. The best way is to add like a loop cut, let's say, and then bevel it, then add another loop cut. So if you're making a door like so, you can delete these faces and press F to fill these areas. Or if you want to make it as a window, you can tab into edit mode, of course, add a loop cut, then add another one, hold Ctrl to snap it, then don't forget to fill these faces, and then you can bridge between these. And to bridge, I have this add-on. It's built in inside Blender called Loop Tools, and you have this option bridge, so you can find it, edit, preferences, loop tools. Hey, Ascend, Fallen Potato, computer specs. I have 3070 Ti, 48 gigs of RAM, and Ryzen something 3500. I'm not sure. But it's a very decent machine. Ascend, how's it going? So just made enter exit blueprint for characters and players. Nice. To like character customizer? All right. Sorry. So let's get back here. Pan and potato. Well, I didn't start with this, so you gotta start somewhere. But if I'm you, I might also be jealous. Trust me, specs are always not enough. You always need more. What are your Droxy? Thank you. Is 3060 12 gigabyte good for Unreal? I believe it should. Yes, Ashish. Like I used to work with 1080 Ti before this 3070 Ti for many years. So I like I also used like 3070 mobile, it was fine. But yeah, to answer your question, Ashish, yes, I recommend getting cards if possible, like so, and like RTX and more VRAMs if possible, because global illumination and reflections and all that, these things would work so much better with hardware ray tracing on lumen and the reflections. It's reflections, I mean. So here we have some obvious styling between these guys, so we can work on it. Should I care about this? Let's see how it looks. No, we should not. Lol. We will add some lights here for these areas. Hey! Is it decals? Yes! Everything is decals. There are how many decals so far? We got... Wait. 1,900 decals in this masterpiece. In this structure. It's really large, by the way, guys. We are in this part, but it's really large because it's copy and paste. Obviously, we didn't reach any of these, but all the decals are around here. And actually, most of them are here, in this floor, because we have these all over. There will be more. Oh my god. Wait a little more to get 3080. Naomi, actually, yes, that's a good... I believe that's a very good advice from Naomi, because I believe from Nvidia we're getting sometime soon the 40 series, the 4070 and 4080 and whatnot. So I'm certain, not me, but like the whole internet, certain the GPU prices is getting to get even lower and lower. So if you want to get a GPU, wait. And sorry, Fun and Potato, but I initially wanted to get 3080 or 3090 Ti, but I've decided to get 3070 Ti until the 40 series is out. So we are sure like they will get so much cheaper, the 3080 and whatnot. So yeah, I recommend you wait. And not wait. Work so hard on your portfolio and Unreal projects, so when the 3080 or 90 or 40 is